You talk shit about Drag Race?
I have before.
Oh, I mean, I've talked shit about Empire once or twice. It's all good.
Okay. Did you get canceled for it?
Oh, no, baby. I got canceled before.
Wait, Ryan, have you seen, because I've been bitching at you forever now.
Yes.
Have you seen One Battle After Another yet?
Okay, Yvie, I have seen One Battle After Another.
Oh, no. I
have seen it.
Yeah, I know, but that side tells me everything that you're going to say about it up next. Which I'm so excited to talk about, bitch.
Let's
because
talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Was it good? Like, did you think it was a good movie?
Okay, yes. Objectively, I can say it was a really great movie. I mean, the action, the way that it immediately sucks you into the world. And when people say this is a film that you have to see in theaters about any movie, I feel like they're typically lying, except for when Sinners was around. And then this movie is telling the truth. You have to see it and experience it in a theater, because just that alone, the bare minimum of that alone is it's everything.
I don't know. It's this world rocking experience. And I think with a movie that is, I'm not going to give away too much, but with a movie that's this deep while also being that entertaining and that loud and that explosive, girl, I think if you wait to watch it on streaming at home on your couch, you're just going to have time to sit and get on your phone.
True.
And get all Twitter upset about it and be like, you know what? Here are all the thoughts I thought while I paused this movie, instead of just
actually
digesting.
sitting, because it doesn't really feel like 3 hours. That's the compliment I will actually give it. It's literally, we got out, I think I did a 12:45 showing and got out around 3:40, 3:30-ish. And I'm I didn't even realize that it was going on for that long. However, I guess, what was your other favorite part of the film besides the action and all the good stuff? What did you like about it the most?
That wasn't even my favorite part about it. If I'm being honest, my favorite part about it was the French 75. I wish that was a whole spinoff. I want to know how this extremist organization started. I don't know. I thought that was the most interesting thing, and the movie opens on this complex series of relationships in what are they called? What is well, they use terrorist domestic
revolutionaries.
Terrorists. Yes, revolutionaries. That's their word side.
Yeah.
But my other thing that I enjoyed about it was that I believe personally that it really did show a lot of perspectives from every single side of somebody who would go into this movie with something to bitch about, which is why I think people are valid for bitching. But I dare somebody to tell me it's not a fantastic film that made them think over and over. What did you feel?
I think I sit in a, not a complicated place, but I think I just literally saw this film on Sunday. So I'm still sitting with it, and I'm still kind of listening to perspectives and reading reviews of just people. I think the most interesting critiques have most definitely come from Black women who have watched this film, or Black women critics specifically who have watched this film, and of course have called out the fetishization that sort of happens through this film. And I will say I walked out of that theater and was what in the race plate Quentin Tarantino film was this shit? I most definitely said that. However, I think where it falls short is the dialogue to me. I think Paul Thomas Anderson does a really the best job I think he can do with writing a perspective of from these revolutionaries, but then somehow finding a way to center his own personal story in the film and these other characters that honestly, the most interesting women on the screen were the Tiana Taylor, Regina Hall, and Chase Affinity.
Well,
they were the most interesting women, and we barely got any time with them except for Chase.
I mean, I do see your point, and it's funny because while I was sitting in this theater, I went in with my own set of standards and ideas and what I was already ready to be pissed about. Number one, Leo DiCaprio's last movie was Killers of the Flower Moon, which is also fantastic.
yeah.
But it is like some big old like white savior complex movie that turns into being like, no, actually, he was really never there to save them. So it's like a hard movie to come off of that right into a movie where you're playing a part of a revolutionary organization that's supposed to be about, it seems like balancing the scales, racial equality. I like the French 75 aspect of it because I thought it was like such a curious conversation to be had about, you know, how to get white men to do what you want and rob a bank.
Well, and I think
that's why I don't fully agree with the fact that, like, I was disappointed that the whole movie kind of had to be about Leo DiCaprio to make as wide of a splash as it did. However, I will say the power in it was clearly in the women. The power in it was in the women on both sides, to where Black women are upset that you know, it was a fetishized depiction, and white guys are upset because they feel like they got a fetishized depiction, and that the heroes of everything are these like liberal Black women terrorists. Shout out Jungle Pussy, you're so fucking dope.
Which also her scene, I think I was left wanting more from Jungle Pussy. I was wanting more from Regina Hall. I was wanting more because these are people, Tiana Taylor, like, I think these are three actresses who are like, Regina Hall, you have her on your slate, you have her on your cast, and you're barely utilizing her. And when you are utilizing her, she's eating down with no dialogue. I think that's so powerful. But like, I do think, to wrap a little bow on this, I do think the Paul Thomas Anderson of it all, I think he basically left me wondering, okay, is the question he's asking us to reevaluate, one, what does revolutionaries look like? And then also reevaluate our relationship to them. And I don't know if he necessarily nailed a point on its head or anything, but I think it's an enjoyable film. I think people should go see it, and it's going to create a splash of a conversation. But there's a lot that he got wrong, in my opinion. But he also ate, so...
And I disagree entirely. I think it was a fantastic third-person perspective, using the power that you get as a white man in the world to be like, all right, here's how creepy white guys see Black women in the world. Let's go.
That's not anything new.
No,
it's nothing new.
It was so new because it literally addressed it in the face. Like, right from the jump, I felt so icky. Right from the jump with how, number one, Sean Penn's character was speaking about Black. That's what it was addressing, was that, like, there has to be some sort of heel in the way that like we're allowed to speak.
But Black people know those conversations are happening, whether they're publicly or internally, like the Christmas Adventurous Club. You know, like, we know that.
Well, I know,
but those things are happening and being.
I know, but that's the thing, is it was like a dynamic about not fucking villainizing every single white man just because they are a part of this evil complex. Just like I do, but.
Whoa, tomato.
Bitch, no, it's fucking ridiculous to have this, like, separatist, like, sort of ideal when literally, like, the world is built against us. Against us. Like, the one thing out of all the weird, crazy history that I do understand from the civil rights movement is that you need somebody with power.
Who was with power? Sean Penn's character, Lockjaw?
No. Well, I mean, no. I think it was interesting because everyone's pissed about it fetishizing Black women.
For sure.
When literally, well, everyone on the left is pissed about that. Let me just clarify. There's two parties of people who are pissed about
I'm
things.
just talking about average folks who are going to watch this film and taking it in.
Well, so am I. There's, like, bitches who, like, are passionately upset about the depiction of Black women, depiction of, like, radical left, depiction of, like, liberation and what it means to pursue that. And then there's people who are pissed that, like, Leo DiCaprio is another dumb fuck up dad, and they're saying white men can't do anything, and they're just a bunch of colorful,
even heard
racist
that.
characters. So I think it gave everybody something to be upset by. What I think was interesting is it laid it all out there. It was like, okay, so there's some people.
But was it well done the way it was laid out? Because you can lay it all out there, but was it done? Was it well done? And
Yeah.
I have a question mark there.
I 100% don't, because, bitch, I dare you to find another movie that will hold my attention span for 3 hours before I'm late.
I could give you a couple of lists, but I also sternly believe that no film should be over an hour 90. Like that
I'm with
for
you
me, I'm
there.
like, you could tell a story in the 90 minutes. Like, let's be fucking for real, please.
Okay, it's 100%. We have a lot more.
We do. I'm happy we've finally been able to talk about it because we went on our little break. Sorry, y'all. We hope you all have been enjoying the episodes that have been out and you revisited and did all the things. Now, as controversial as this one battle after another is and the conversation that is happening, of course, it's not over here. We're going to continue to talk about it a little bit later on the show, but we have a little bit, I think, Yvie, you said a controversial guest joining us.
Yes, we do. We're diving into one of Hollywood's wildest stories. So much controversy, even more than when I spread my legs open in that car and a bunch of shooters fell out.
No, that is still number one controversy. Yeah.
I also can't tell if I'm like Paris Hilton too. But believe it or not, our guest today has stirred the pot, has riled people up, and I would like to apologize for your emotions already, because Ryan, you're actually friends with him, right?
Yeah, I think he's all those things, but yeah, he's a new friend, and he's always been so sweet, and I really appreciate him coming on the show and like talking about his new album, talking about his new perspective and outlook on life. And yeah, how about you all decide what you feel after you listen to this interview? Because I think that's tracks with his story. You have to decide what side you fall on. And we're giving you the same opportunity here, but get into it, honey. It's a little juicy.
No, it's going to be so juicy. In fact, it's going to be Jussie Smollett juicy. I'm never going to be that clever again.
Oh, it was everything. Coming up is Jussie Smollett, y'all. HighKey.
Ryan, I thought I was going to get to see you.
No, it's kind of crazy because here's the thing. This show is, because of our schedules, is virtual, but I was hoping that we would be able to work something out in LA when you were here, but
I'm so sad.
I'm obsessed with you.
But I love you. I haven't seen you since ABFF.
I know. And even before then, it was, oh my God, it was like GLAAD Honors or something. Like it was something GLAAD related. And I'm just like,
something
why?
gay, baby. It was something gay and black.
Always.
I didn't know y'all went back like that.
Oh
Like,
my God.
Oh my God. The Slake on? Are you kidding me? What?
Y'all just like right now, y'all are giving me
Please.
my two aunties who show up to a family barbecue that we all knew was happening. It was like,
Yes.
Hey, cousin.
I ain't seen her from way back.
This is nice,
my.
though. I feel very, very safe and very alone.
As you should. Only the best for you, Jussie. Seriously, I really mean it when I say I'm so excited about, one, this new era that you are in, and this moment that really looks so refreshing on you. You know what I mean?
You,
I've been like, it's really nice to witness, and you already wear so many hats. You're the actor, director. I mean, your new album is officially out.
Yes. This is the first interview that I've done since the album has been out.
Crazy.
That's right.
Well, thank you, babe.
damn, I wish this was like dropping right now.
I know.
Just be like,
I know it should be live.
Give them a Janet nip slip or something.
Right.
Really help.
Bam.
We need to sell this thing. Let me give you a little something. Now, but no, I think when you look at where you are right now, what part of your artistry is making you feel most alive?
It's love. It's love. I think about it often, and I've been thinking about it, especially being on this, promo tour for particularly the music. I've been trying to figure out, like, what is the difference between me as the artist and me as the man? And I start to realize that they're both the same, Because if I enter the room with authenticity and I enter the room with true honesty and integrity, then, you know, it is who I am, and I'm presenting who I am as I am. And I think that for so long, you can kind of get wrapped up in presenting a piece of yourself because you don't want to give away too much, or you're scared of the scrutiny, you know, especially with what we do and who we are and how we can be perceived. You know, having to explain your life time and time again can get exhausting. And,
I bet. I can only really imagine.
But it's not just for me though, y'all. It's for anybody that it's for you. It's for y'all too. You know what I mean? Anybody that by society standards it's deemed different, we're going to have to explain, if you will, ourselves a little bit more than the everyday person that doesn't have to do that. You know, and in one sense, you lean into it because you know that there are babies out there. You know that if we had the representation that people have now, as difficult as it is, as much as our identities are, you know, attempting to erase our identities, we still have more representation. We have more resources that are out there for us to feel just a little bit less alone, right?
Is there ever a part of you though that like wants to remove the you part from things? Like I have to say, there's some times I've definitely like had, I don't want to call them regrets, but like regrets about sharing aspects of myself, even though I know they help the babies. It's like, you're like, damn, I'm just like trying to eat a sandwich on the street.
Right.
And
you know what it is? Hell yes, to your question. Hell yes. Every damn day, I just want to be a regular bitch walking down the damn street. I just really do. But at the same time, I do think that it comes with, I don't know. I just
responsibility.
You know, yeah, it does.
Are you about to drop that Spider-Man shit on me, Uncle Ben?
See, responsibility is not always fun, but it also is. But there's a way to find the joy in that. You know what I mean? And it's like there are more. I think the most difficult thing is you start to be looked at as only one thing, and what ends up happening is that you feel like you have to talk about that. You have to carry that in everything that you do. When in actuality, I don't turn over in the morning and look at my fiance, who just so happens to be a man, and say, gosh, we're representing.
Yeah, right. You're like, you know what? I am eating up this DEI thing.
Like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, yes. Like, yes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't look at him and be like, yes, diversity. You know what I mean? It's just my life. It's just my life. But I also recognize once you go outside, and, you know, I've said this, that it's hard because what you don't want to do is you don't want to start making money off of your art, and then all of a sudden you become a customer service agent.
Well, and here's the thing. You grew up in a very, not even like, I wouldn't say it's not a normal way of growing up, but I think a lot of people can't say that they grew up in a family that was like all about activism and fighting for something in a community, right? And I think that feels like
intense.
Right, I would imagine. But I also feel like it kind of helps you shape that mindset around knowing like, okay, I'm going to continue to be the representation in the art that I love, but I'm also not going to be a commodity.
And I think that that's what it is, because again, it has to do with your upbringing. So that's the perfect point to pull in, because there was a point where I remember being a little kid, and we were not allowed to watch Charlie Brown.
Oh, child, I grew up
because
cultured,
my
so
mom would be like, they are racist. They got that one little black character, and he'll never have no friends. We weren't able to watch it. Like we just were not. There were certain movies and certain directors. I remember we were not allowed. It was not. I did not see. And we saw every old movie there was to see. Every old movie, every Joan Crawford. I could name, I think Joan Crawford did like 81 films. I know this because my mother has every Joan Crawford VHS still in this treasure chest in her
historian
bedroom.
Archive.
Yeah, no, she really is. All the posters, everything. But we were not allowed to watch like Gone with the Wind until I was an adult. And I was like, okay, like I'm a filmmaker. I need to see this damn movie.
I need to see the classics.
I've seen clips. My mom would let us watch the Carol Burnett thing of her dressed as Scarlett O'Hara forever, but we were not allowed to watch that. And it's the way that we were brought up. I remember my father, who was not black. He's no longer with us, but was not black. He'd be calling white people like really derogatory names. And I'm like, bruh, like, don't do that.
He said, now hold on. You gotta remember, you're not black.
It's like, bruh, like calm down, bruh.
He's fighting for the cause.
Calm down. He'd say sometimes, he'd be like, well, man, because we don't do that. We black. And I'm like, but you ain't. You ain't, bro.
So
it's just the way that we grew up. So I think that I carry that. So it's a little bit less of I think that I stress more over people scrutinizing my personal life rather than people scrutinizing what and who I am, you know, as a black man, as a gay man, as a queer man. Like,
say more about that. What does that mean for you when you're saying scrutinizing your personal life?
Like when you walk into a room and you know that people are like thinking about every aspect of you that they know about, rather than your art that you are here to
every
like,
single eccentric. And here's the thing, friend, they may not even be thinking about that. But you're thinking about them thinking about that.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Because you know some mofo in the damn world is thinking about that. Mm-hmm. So you know somebody in that room, or you feel that somebody. And sometimes, look, there have been times where I've been sitting down at a restaurant and someone's staring, and I just think that they hate me or they're a hater, or I'm just like, they over there
feel
and
it
they
in your
talking
soul, like,
and they taking pictures and they laughing, and then they'll walk up and be like, I just want to say that I love you so much. And I'm just like, oh my God, I feel so stupid.
Damn.
I am so stupid. Because sometimes insecurity can lead you to, you got to watch it that it don't lead you to be self-absorbed. Because you might actually think that more people are thinking about you just in general, whether it's good or bad, and they're not even thinking about you at all.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I was hooking up with this guy in his hot tub last night.
Okay.
I guess that part of the story wasn't
there
important.
On HighKey, please. Just sit back and relax.
I was hanging out with a friend last night who
A friend.
was
Is it your
telling
friend
me,
or your friend?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just learned his name yesterday, so
Crazier shit has happened.
I have to say, please.
But he's just got out of a very long relationship that is also tied to a big event or party. And so he was expressing like how when he was walking around this event and party that's like all about like authenticity, like free, uninhibited expression, that all he was thinking about was everybody and how he knows that they're talking about him. And I was like, girl, it sounds like you were just like a little too plugged in. Like you need to find if everyone does know you in this space, you need to find somewhere to put yourself that like you can at least be at peace and learn a new way to move through the world. So my question is for you, when you are moving through these spaces and you feel overwhelmed, you feel everybody like talking their thoughts, talking their shit, like where do you put yourself? How do you like decompress from the thoughts that you're thinking people are thinking?
The story you're telling yourself, essentially.
I imagine that I'm Whitney Houston.
Okay, explain.
Okay, which Whitney Houston? Okay, there's a lot of cultural references for the kids.
I mean, no, Whitney Houston. Please, you know, Whitney is the god of all things vocal. But please, tell me more.
I remember back in the day there was this movie that Angela Bassett directed, right, about Whitney Houston, and former America's Next Top Model and actress Yaya played Whitney Houston. I remember there was this one line where she was getting out of the car and she said, "Time to be Whitney Houston." And that stuck with me as I stay with me. It stuck with me because I feel like it said so much more about you create a version of yourself that just deals with it. You just deal with it until you are out of the situation, and then you breathe, because you don't have time in that moment if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling, and I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for myself. If you're feeling anxious or you're feeling, you know, insecure or just low, whatever it may be, and you have work to do and you have places to be, you gotta buck up. For myself, I just have to buck up because I'm not gonna allow any of my insecurities to spill over, and just in case there is somebody there that feels some sort of way, that I would give them a moment. I wouldn't want to do that. So what I try to do is, my godmother, Deanna, one of my godmothers, is she constantly says this thing. She's like, baby, just go where the love is. Go where the love is. Go where the love is. And you can't always go where the love is, but you can find where the love is in every single situation, even if that means finding the love, like going to the bathroom for a second, getting yourself together and coming back out.
Yeah.
Because and being like, you know what, in this moment, I'm not faking it till I make it. I'm just covering myself.
Taking
protecting
space
myself.
For yourself.
Yeah, you have to.
Let's talk about that, right? Because I think that's really beautiful, like finding the love, right, wherever you can. And I think a lot of times you can find the love in community, but I know it can be rough when you have been someone who has like gone through so much in the public eye. If we're not going to talk about it, work, totally fine. But I want to acknowledge that because I think that's a part of a beautiful part of your journey.
Thank you.
And I wonder, how did community shift for you? Did you still feel like, I know you had your family who will always be there. I mean, blood's thick in the water, honey. But also your chosen family, the people that you were maybe publicly aligned with, or even personally in your world. How has community shifted the way that you think about it now?
Oh, that's such a good question. Girl. What I've realized is that I used to think that I wasn't fine enough.
Oh my God, I literally just have had her on blast all weekend for no reason. It's for this moment.
Please.
I just go into my bedroom and I listen to Keisha Cole. That's how I get through life. No, what I realized is that I used to think that two things. I used to think that the world, this is going to sound like I'm jaded, and maybe I am in this part, but I used to think that the majority of the world was good people that were fighting against bad, right? I started to see the world as the majority was bad people fighting to appear to be good. And that is exhausting in itself but there are still incredible people in the world.
Of course.
And most people, their intentions are good, but they just screw up. So you got to recognize the root of people's intentions, because I'm not going to judge you based on what you do. I'm going to judge you based on how you react when you are approached with what you did.
Yeah.
You know? And I used to believe that if you were Black, you're a part of my community. If you are any of the letters, you my baby, you my boo, you are my community. And I started to realize that that's not true. In actuality, my community are the people that show up, that are there when times are amazing and are there when times are bad. Tell me when I'm doing great and tell me when I'm fucking up. Hold my feet to the fire. Tell me, hold me accountable, please. You know what I mean? I do not care to exist in a world where everyone is saying yes, because I can read bullshit. I can smell bullshit a mile away. Now.
Right.
Not always,
right.
but now
Yeah.
I can.
But it took you to go. It took you to go through something to really kind of get that meter.
Right. But what
aligned.
I realize now is that my community are those people, and they just so happen to be predominantly Black and predominantly queer. Now, so that is my community. But recognizing that not everybody is going to love you. Call me foolish, but I really thought, like, if you do good for the most part, like, even if they don't like you, they're not gonna hate you, because there's no real reason to, right? Like, you're not bothering anybody. So just do your thing. And, I wasn't never trying to bother anybody in my life except racists and homophobes. Like those are the only people that.
But that's what's so wild though is like I feel like it's been the plot of a million TV shows, movies, cartoons. Like I got this growing up Disney 8,000 times over is like one character who people typically love. Like finally find somebody who hates them or doesn't give a shit, and then they're like, oh no, and their world is wrecked. And at the end of the day, they learn it's okay to like.
Not everybody,
have everyone
and that's
love
when you sit down with Bob Saget, Danny Tanner, and he says, Stephanie, not everybody gonna like you.
Huge audio track.
Okay. And the violins. You know what I mean?
But I think
because I used to be that person also, y'all, where I did. Like, I'm gonna keep it real. I used to be that person where you could have 1,000 comments of people be like, oh my God, like your voice is the voice of an angel. We love you. And I'm just like, oh, thank you so much. One person could be like, this motherfucker sound like a dying lamb. And I'm a straight up, I'm going to be like, oh my God, my vibrato is a little shaky. And it's just like, shut the hell up.
That also sounds like that's a comment that you've received that felt very specific.
That felt personal. I'm gonna go
I put it in my first song on my first album, Insecurity. It's like literally, I mean, like that nigga sound like a dying lamb. That's what one person said. And it bothered me so deeply that I put it into a song.
That's interesting though, because I think a part of our like it's not a responsibility by any means, but I think it's interesting when artists will be like, oh no, I don't engage with like any of the feedback. I don't like read the comments because I think in an ideal world that would be beautiful. But you know, the way I was taught art is you paint your art, you put it up in a show, and then you have to go to the gallery showing and like stand in a corner with your glass of wine and listen to what bitches are saying about it. Because like, you know, it is for us and it is from us, but it is also a conversation with the world. So I'm curious if any elements of that worldly conversation like really made it into this album, whether or not you intended to.
Oh my gosh. I think that for what I've been through over the last, you know, almost damn near decade, it would be impossible not for it not to make its way. It's all throughout the album. You know, because the album is all of my music has always been, even the music that I wrote for Empire, was very autobiographical. You know, I say this often that I grew up loving those autobiographical writers, the Stevie Wonders and the Janet Jacksons and the Carly Simons and Aretha Franklins and you know, Dusty Springfield. You know what I mean? The people that really wrote these songs, and they were not generic songs. They were songs about something, and they were broad enough to make us feel like, come on, Velvet Rope to me is the album that saved my life. You know what I mean? Like as a young little boy that didn't know what was happening with all of this, you know, I feel like she came along and explained it somehow, whether it was intentional or unintentional. And it was simply from her explaining, her talking about her depression, her talking about her sexuality, her talking about her experiences, somehow that opened up the world to me. And I think that that's what my mission has been since, is that art of any kind, creation of any kind actually has the power to change things, actually has the power to knock down doors and start conversations that ordinarily we wouldn't be able to have. There's so many people that came up to me and have said clearly that they've had discussions with their children about their sexuality because they watched Empire. Yeah. And so that type of stuff I don't take lightly. But for what so with that said, not to go on a tangent, with that said, yes, it's weaved all throughout the album are the stories but what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to create a sad ass album. Like I didn't want to create, because I wanted to show what I've been through, but on the other side of that is joy. And I haven't been through, there have been people who have been through 10 times worse than I've been through. There have been people who have been assaulted and don't come back to talk about it, don't come back from it even to be called a liar. You know what I mean? So for that, I just keep on forcing myself to look, because in the moments that I stopped looking, I feel like I lost a sense of reality. It's okay. And I get it, y'all. Like I get it. Like you're not supposed to know you're not supposed to know everything that people think of you, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do need to peek your head out and you need to see what people are saying. Because at least for me, because I don't want to I'm too nosy about my own business not to know.
Girl, same.
You know what I'm saying?
Like legit, I'm so bad. I haven't gotten. I made a TikTok last year or something, like literally to be like, yeah, you're eventually gonna get on this. Could not give a shit, and then finally, like last week, discovered the place on TikTok where it tells you everything everyone's saying about or tagging you in.
Oh my God,
bitch! I deep dive so quick.
What? I would never.
Yeah,
I would never.
Oh my God, that's the thing, though.
I was horny for it. I was
Yeah,
like, I didn't know
it's
people
real.
existed on here talking to me. And
It's
then
happened
it was
to
actually
me.
really fun.
It's something that I've had to flag about myself, especially doing this show and as we're getting listeners. And it's one of those things where it's like, I love getting feedback. I think it makes you so much better, especially when it's constructive. And it really just is like, if you can find you someone that tells you exactly what the issue is and how you can work on it, that's my kink.
Sure.
Where the line starts to blur is when you can't tell what this is. Like, you can't tell if it's actually rooted in something that is like grounded in of truth and like is meaningful and helpful, or is it just something to just throw another jab? And I think that's where people get lost in this like cycle of social media comments and the noise, because it doesn't really allow you to know what is your truth. And I wonder through this process of writing Breakout and your album, how did you, what was that journey of you understanding and maybe grieving with your truth and what the world perceives as your truth?
But you do, though, grieving is the right word. Like, you do grieve. You not almost, I had to grieve the person that I was. You know, I had to grieve losing that person because there's no possible way that I'll ever be the same.
Yeah.
And as much as I would like to believe and, I think that that's one of the fears, is that you're scared in the beginning. At least for me, I was scared in the beginning of like, damn, am I ever going to like feel like me again? It feels like you can't smile. You know, I remember one time I was on, after everything was done the first time, not the third time, but the first time. After everything was done, I went on a trip with my sister. It was my older sister's birthday, and the whole family I remember we went to Hawaii. It was still a dark time, but I remember laughing because my niece was there. She's my favorite person in the whole world. And my niece was there, and she ran, and it was something cute, and I just laughed. It was a huge, hearty laugh that I had not laughed in a minute. And it ended up on some like blog. Somebody had gotten us a picture of it, and they you know what I'm saying? They changed the title, and they were just like, "Oh, he said that blah 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 blah. He's laughing at da da da." And I'm just
laughing at a child who fell.
Well, it wasn't that, but it could have been.
No,
it could have been. But no, they made it seem like I was laughing at winning. And it just brought all of the stuff back to something ugly. And, you're just like, okay, so that does something to your psyche to just be like, you know what? Then I just ain't gonna smile in public. I'm just not gonna smile in public.
Yeah, you're right.
And it just
oh my
changes.
God, let me just not express joy.
It does.
Which I hope you don't ever let them take that joy away from you.
No, never again. But you have to realize that at that time, again, I am a much different person than I was then. I have the skin of an elephant at this point. I still am, things still hurt my feelings. Things still make me insecure. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm, man of steel. But at the same time, I can move on from it. I can keep moving because I do have what I realized throughout all of this. And I've said this before, is that I don't believe in happiness. I think that happiness is a feeling that we can feel, but happiness can be taken away from us when, in those moments of sadness, those moments of stress or anger or frustration, whatever it is. But joy is something that we carry deep down inside. And that's something that, even though I thought, because I was looking for happy, I was only looking for happy. Like, when am I going to feel happy again? And it's like, you might not, or you will, but it's just a feeling. You feel happy right now, but it can be taken away. But your joy, and that's what I wanted for people to feel with Breakout, that we are collectively going through a collective worldwide depression. And I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about accounts.
No.
I'm talking
and people
about,
feel it.
I'm talking about, we all feel that this is heavy. This is heavy.
Emotionally deprived.
Absolutely. And I believe that it does not matter what side you're on. I don't care if you are some racist homophobe you are not happy. Your ass is stressed. That's why you so busy trying to stress our asses out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why you so stressed? Damn.
Literally.
God, go eat some Velveeta cheese and call it Christmas. Like, it's fine. But
that.
Wait, was that your
just
Christmas?
Wait, that just gave me a taste for some Rotel. Ooh, that was delicious.
We are not sponsored by them yet, but if you would like to, Velveeta, I will rub your cheese all over my pussy.
But to be... I just love it.
What?
I mean, but here's the thing.
Cheesy
I think
puss.
that's
just cheesy puss.
Please, yeah, everyone, let's rein it back in.
Yeah, that's right. Let's get back to being serious again.
No, but I think that's why I love the title of your project,
Thank
right? Because breaking out is not only like something that you really can literally do, but it feels like it's more of a feeling. What do you want people to take away from this new era of sound and instrumentation and where your voice is right now? What do you want people to take away from that?
We are in the love era. Like, it really is.
Child, my girl gets engaged, it is wrapped.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I don't want to hear no foolishness. I don't want to hear no bullshit. Like, I just want to walk down the damn street singing about love like I do in my video. Because that is, y'all, love is the root of everything. And I feel like the problem is that we've started to believe that talking like that is corny. But it's not. It's like we need more of that. Love or lack of love is the root of everything. And we all need to be okay with showing love. It's like I get it. We're busy in our own days. We're going through shit. Like, we're trying to pay our bills. We're trying to take care of our mama. We're trying to take care of our kids. We're trying to take care of any and everybody. Trying to take care of our damn selves. You know what I mean? And we're mentally exhausted. We're emotionally exhausted. Not to talk about like physically, financially, all of the other things.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, we got to take a moment and connect, sober up and connect with each other and love on each other, because people are going through things that you don't know what you might say that could be the trigger point for somebody to just be done with it all. But you also don't know what you might say that could be the trigger point to make somebody stay. To make somebody like just hold on for 5 more minutes until it gets just a little bit better, because it does get better. All of those things that we started to hear like in our 20s, you know, when like Trevor Project came around and things like that, where it was like, oh, you know, it gets better. And, you know, all of this, I feel like we're losing sight of the fact that, y'all, that's still true. Like, that's still true. And so with all the bullshit that we're going through as a community, as a people, and all of that type of stuff, like, isn't that the moment that you lean in more?
Yeah.
It is, but I think we just have to realize how dire that is. Because I will say, like, not to get too political on this show, but, you know, there was a long period.
Because I'm HighKey political, bitch.
I know that's right.
Bitch, okay. Then let's jump in with my unsmart ass, because I feel like there was this long period where we did the culture was powered by hope, you know, not to steal Obama's shit, but like the culture was literally powered by hope. We had visions for the future, even though we had all these problems that were starting to pile on. We had like just this sense of it's going to be okay sometime. I think I would personally like to speak and say the culture has shifted to a decade now, at least, of that hope sort of being sucked out and people just seeing what's worse and worse in all these different ways, which is why I think that swing is coming back because we can't ever stay in a space
But that's what
of
people don't
downness.
realize is that
sustainable.
y'all, the pendulum has to swing all the way to the left and then all the way to the right and then a little bit more to the left, a little bit more to the right, a little bit less till it finds its way to the center. It can't be one way all the time. And it's interesting you said a decade because people don't realize how much things can change in a 5 to 10 year period in good ways or bad ways. But that's the whole mission. But that's the current mission right now is to make us feel hopeless, so that we just do what you want to do. As long as I'm living my life, I'm just concerned at this point. I'm hopeless. I'm just concerned with getting by day to day. And then you stop thinking about the fact that no, like we still have to be hopeful. Being in a perpetual state of fighting though is not good for anybody. You have to take yourself and find something that gives you hope, joy, whatever it is. I don't care, but I would recommend it being something that is sobering to your mind, not taking your mind some other place.
And I think it's what's powerful about the things that we put into the world, like this project or the work that you've done, like The Last Holiday.
The Last Holiday was with Queen Latifah.
Oh my God,
but we love Queen
Holiday.
Latifah.
You know what I mean.
Who you calling a bitch?
Which is a great film. Both great films. That's why I was at the premiere of ABFF.
Yes,
you mentioned that earlier. And it was just it was beautiful. Shout out to Jabari Red.
Shout out to Jabari Red. That's right.
But I wonder, are there any other mediums that you are wanting to explore? Like I'm interested in seeing what does theater look like? Right?
I was just about to say that. That is my
I was like, what is
that is my next conquest is like I want to conquer theater. Like I haven't, it's the one, not the one thing, there's tons of things I haven't done, but it's one of the things that creatively as an actor I've never done. And it's shocking that I haven't because
crazy.
I am a trained actor. I am a trained performer. I'm a trained dancer. I'm a trained singer, but I've never done it. And it's something that I certainly want to do like now, like yesterday.
Bitch, you have like such stage energy. Like you're stage ready.
And baby, I can project.
Well, and I know, and I also know it's really becoming this like beautiful vehicle for like Black creatives specifically and Black queer creatives.
I love it.
That you can tell the stories and get the space. And I it's all a business and there's probably so many financial confinements, but you get a beautiful space to tell the stories that you want to tell, right? So is it just simply being on the stage or do you want to be driving that?
No, I don't. Here's the thing. I want to be on the stage. I don't have to be driving it, but I also want to have something where I'm driving it as well. So there's that. But I don't feel like, let me be clear, I don't want to develop every damn project I do. I don't.
I know that's right.
I do not. That shit is tiring and it's hard. But at the same time, I will because I do like
a
having
curious artist.
Yeah,
like you want to explore everything.
I'm so curious. Like I said before, I'm so damn nosy about just my life in general, and I just feel like life is too short and it's too long to not do everything that you want to do. If I want to live in London, I'm gonna live in London. If I want to, and now here's the thing: I don't say that. I'm not being cavalier about that, and just I'm also recognizing that I'm blessed and grateful to have the resources to be able to say that out loud. But at the same time, and I recognize that other people don't always have that. But at the same time, what you want to do in a day, find a way to at least give yourself one moment of doing what you want to do, because what you want to do is what you need to do for yourself. And that is okay. That is okay.
You sound like my literal fucking therapist right now.
I sound like my therapist too, boo.
Come on, therapy works, y'all. Therapy works.
My therapist told me like this. My therapist said like this. She said, there is nothing you are getting with this false humility. And I was like, what do you mean? Shut your face!
No, I'll never get over paying somebody to drag you every week. Like that is just
that's basically
and I
what
love
it
my
is.
therapist. She is someone that when when I know I have left a session and I know it's been good, I am still replaying her reads. Like,
oh, absolutely.
I've watched,
and you go in there every single week or every 2 weeks, depending on how well off you are. I'm a weekly man, so sometimes I'm multiple times a week. But it's also, it's good when you go up in there and you're looking forward to it and you're like, let me go up in here and annoy her today. And go see what she will tell me today. But she said like this, she said, stop the production. And I didn't know what that meant at first, but she said, stop the production. She said, because the production is not for you. The production is for everyone else. And it's exhausting to you. Stop the production. You don't have to do all of this for these people. You don't have to tap dance through life. Stop the production. Just be. And it makes you be like, what the fuck do you mean by that?
who told you, first of all?
And then you're doing a whole production. You're like, well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean?
Wait, really? When did you move to London? Like, how long have you been in London? That's crazy.
A little bit. But, a little
that's
bit.
Beautiful.
I try not to talk too much about it, but yes.
No, that's beautiful. I didn't know. Like, what has London taught you about yourself?
What's interesting is that I lived in London for some time, when, like a million years ago, like 20 years ago. When I was 12. No, I'm kidding.
It's been 84 years.
Yes, of course. But this time, my whole music team is out there, so we'll see how long, with the launch of the project, it's just been incredible to spend so much time in London. There's a calmer, for me at least, it's a little slower. And I know that like the UK has its own set of challenges, but I always say this, it's kind of like if you have a fucked up family life, and then your neighbor has a fucked up family life, you go over to their house and their fucked up family life don't feel as fucked up as your family life because it's their fucked up family life. So you just go there and you're like, I love it here. This is great. And then this is amazing. And your friend is like, but darling, this is absolute trash. It's just absolute trash. And then you're like, boo, y'all fine. It's fine.
You're like, look at the head of my household right now. Okay, I'm just gonna chill here. And
I'm just
stay
gonna
the night.
chill here. I'ma just, like, what's up? Immigration, baby. Like, it's for me. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's been peaceful. And above all, it's been necessary to what we're trying to do. We also shoot our next film that I'm directing and I'm starring in at the end of first quarter. So like April.
Oh, beautiful.
March or April of spring, summer, September. No, I'm kidding.
Right
March or April.
Bitches. I just like that you're like, I'm also shooting and directing my next film right after you're like, I don't want to like be so involved in every production
but
of
who
my
likes
project.
to work?
Yeah, but
That's how I look at it. Who
but
likes
I'm
to
still
work?
a control freak, y'all. I'm sorry. I am. I'm a controlling ass bitch. I am. Because I just like things done a certain way. So I know that this is the thing. You must know how annoying you are if you're going to continue to be annoying. True.
Well,
okay.
yes.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
and I think there's a lot of people out there that feel like that, think that way, and know that they're annoying. But guess what?
Dear
the work
HighKey
must
fans,
continue.
I'm so sorry for my voice and Ryan's voice and the things I talk about, talking shit about Drag Race, my body odor.
you talk shit about Drag Race?
Well,
I have before.
Yes.
Once or twice.
Even though she's a winner.
I've talked shit about Empire once or twice. It's all good.
Okay. Did you get canceled for it?
Oh, no, baby. I got canceled before.
All right, y'all.
No, but Jussie, I just want to say, and I think I can speak for Yvie as well. We're so honored that you, we were your first stop and that you came here and talked about this new beautiful era that you're in. I'm so excited for you. Because it's all over you. This new shine, this joy is simply just beautiful. And so if you didn't know Jussie had a new album, please go listen, go buy it, go stream it, go watch all the videos.
All of them.
And just support in any ways that you can, because I think this moment right here is a special one. And we thank you for joining us for HighKey. Oh my God, I forgot to ask her question.
That's what I was getting into. Like,
what is
girl?
it? What?
Okay, Jussie.
Tell me.
Every week on HighKey, we like to ask our guests a special question, which is...
Love games.
I want to know, what's your HighKey about? Like, what's occupying space in your mind?
Yes,
it could be a person, a place, a thing.
I don't know if I should be embarrassed about this, but I'm going to just say it. I'm HighKey on baddies.
No!
I'm so sorry.
No way. Like baddies in Africa baddies? Like going all the way back to
embarrassed that they did Africa. Because when they did Baddies Africa, girl. I was just like, why y'all gonna go to the motherland?
No.
Why y'all gonna do that? Please don't embarrass us in the motherland. But I watched it anyway, and I have to say that I love them. I love Fauna. She is so pretty and so sweet. I love Fauna. I love Scotty. I love Rolly. I even love crazy ass Summer. Okay.
Oh
my mama. Oh my
and
mama.
You know what? And this is what I think. Real equality is allowing us to have our shit that is trash as well.
Ryan,
you know what I mean?
I literally
that's real equality.
Listen, I did Candy Show like last week, and that's exactly what I was saying. Is I'm just like, there is not one way to be us, and I don't think that every single person has to be. We're not all. Although I love them, but we're not all
baddies.
We're not all gonna be walking down the carpet of the NAACP Image Awards.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not
exactly.
And that's so important, but there are multiple ways and other ways to show who we are. And I'm sorry, and I ain't trying to get too deep about the show because I'm talking about baddies, but at the same time, but y'all stay with me of the fact that I see growth in these young women. I see these young women coming in here and creating a better life for themselves and hurting each other and hurting themselves in the process, but somehow finding a way to get through it. And I'm sorry,
eventually they do grow up, bitch. Like, look at Scotty. Oh my God.
Scotty is so fucking mature now. And you just see her and you see her like coming into her own and really owning her shit. And also what I love is when people squash things like when Tommy shot Rolly with that BB gun, but then Tommy came back the following season. and they made up like when Tommy rolled in on like a camel or a horse or something.
That's sisterhood.
And Rolly was about to beat her ass.
Bonding.
And Tommy was like, I'm tired. But y'all, when Tommy said about her daughter, she said, I got a daughter that's watching. I want better for... I felt that. I felt that at my core. So I think that baddies is out here changing lives.
No, I think that's beautiful, and I think it's a perfect way to stop this show.
Girl.
Oh my God, Jussie Smollett, thank you so much for being on fucking HighKey.
Batty shot o'clock, bitches. Let's do this.
Oh my God, Jussie, I love you so much.
I love you too. I love you both. I love you both.
We were so excited about this conversation. Seriously, it means the world for you to support.
I can't wait to sit with y'all in person because I feel like as much fun as we had on this little COVID-19 Zoom call, we would have even more.
So shout out to Jussie Smollett for being on the show. It was a really great interview. And maybe we'll talk about, I don't know what. I loved it. And I think it was really great.
I loved it, but I will say I wish I had my little sunglasses on, that way we could have like matched vibes and been like, yo, who's cooler?
But I'm like, speaking of though, I think we have locked into something with this one battle after another conversation. And I think where we kind of left off at the top of the show, I asked the question where I was like, do we believe that this was well done from like a 360 perspective? Not just like half of it being like excellently like, it's beautiful, the cinematography is incredible, blah, blah, blah. But was this actually like a well done movie when it comes to the dialogue specifically?
I say yeah, bitch. Like the reason why I'm so passionately about it is I think there is always this great debate in culture about how much of your own experience you aren't allowed to like write about or talk about, or how much knowledge somebody has to be giving to something. And while obviously this was another film made by some white guy that starred mostly some white guy, and I do think what was interesting about it was, for me, I understand it wasn't the highlight showcase about Black women. I think, if we talk about things, who these audiences are, where films are made, I feel like this was like a sneaky way to get the conversation about fetishization, about like, race relations, interracial relationships, power across to the whitest audience. And I'm using whitest in that sense and in the can't dance sense. Because legit, I feel like if there was a movie that was, if this movie was all about Tiana Taylor's character, Perfidia Beverly Hills,
which it should have been,
and which I want, it wouldn't have made like a wide enough impact to actually be speaking on both sides. So in my opinion,
I don't know if I agree with that.
I mean, girl, we're bitching about one thing, and literally there's someone in the manosphere right now being like, man, that movie was good, but it fucking sucked because these liberals are always just making fun of white men, and it just makes us all out to be bad guys.
I actually feel like Paul Thomas Anderson is sort of making that statement in a lot of different ways. I think in his choice of dialogue, it came from a perspective of like, if I was to be in the shoe of a revolutionary for a day, what would they say? What would they sound like? What would they do? And how do we ultimately make them all fail at what they're doing? And then also like, there's, perfidias, like snitches for all of these things. And I think that's a very complex and nuanced like decision for that character the more I think about it. But I'm like, I feel like he is actually actively making that commentary, and he's doing it through such a lens of dialogue that felt so disconnected at times, where I was like, this don't even make sense, along with the plots, like the plot holes in the story altogether. And so I don't know, like I just feel like I love a big swing. This film is the biggest swing of the year. I'm going to say that. Yeah, for sure. Haven't been very excited about a movie this year except for Sinners.
I mean, that's why she has to be my high key. Is like, yes, obviously I'm on the side of, I really appreciate it as a piece of art, and I think it did such a complex job at selling such hard ideas.
Way of saying it, complex job.
I think it did a complex job. It gave lots of people lots of things to be pissed about, which to me is good. That's fantastic art, because if we are feeling like this over here and somebody over there is feeling that way, the only people who are losing out are the people who are not having the conversation, are the people who aren't going to go see a movie that is probably going to make you feel some type of way about something.
Yeah. But and that's the thing. I think there's so many of these big conversations that you're like talking about that I'm happy that they are happening. Like, I think everyone should for sure go see this film. I think it's a film that you will thoroughly enjoy. And I was listening to a friend's podcast, and they kept making the joke that this was basically a Christmas movie. I mean, I was just like, it's kind of funny to say that, but like, it's very interesting, all of the different perspectives and takes that are coming from this movie. So I think it makes complete sense that we are high key both about this film.
Yeah, we're both high key about it. I'm just honestly excited. I'm high key to talk to literally everybody and like debate about our perspectives. I think this was the best film a white guy ever made about a white guy saving Black people.
But still, I mean, that's the thing. He didn't even do that. Like, he was so awful. But I will also say, like, also listen, if you are you see the film and you are taking it in, and you're currently in one battle after another TikTok, which I am, and you're seeing all these different takes, I do think there are some really interesting takes from like Black women critics that are worth listening to. I think that when people are bringing up in a collective voice this like experience that is like happening to them while they are taking in this film and they're being vocal about it in a really interesting way and smart way. Maybe we should listen. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
But anyway, that's what
either way
we
should talk about it. Go argue with your friends, get in our pussies. Go see it in theaters. Literally, no offense to Tron Ares. You can suck my nipple.
Yeah, I was like, who the fuck wants to see that?
Girl.
Manosphere people, probably.
Manosphere, and then also just like 3 random faggots I talked to are like, yeah, I went and saw Tron Ares. And I'm like, have you seen the Tron Ares for Good films yet?
Is it a kid's film? Do people like take their kids to it? Like do people with 5-year-olds take their babies to it? Who knows?
Okay, yeah, it's that. It's also probably fierce, and I do love 9 Inch Nails, so I'd go for the music.
Well, I'm super excited about next week's episode because that's a wrap on this week's HighKey.
Obviously, this was a super spicy episode. This was a spicy week for us.
I like it. I like that. That's what art is supposed to do. Any good art, and hopefully our show does this. That's a wrap on HighKey this week. But I hope our show can also create these moments. Create these debates and these sort of conversations that really are important. So thanks for hanging out with us. I'm excited about next week's episode because it's the icon, the legend, and Out 100 Icon of the Year award recipient, Niecy freaking Nash.
I cannot believe it. I'm like geeking. I don't even know what I want to talk to her about because I just used to watch her on my TV and she's a real person.
Reno 911.
Nails or claws?
Yes, claws.
Nails.
Well, yes, it was basically. But no, I'm so excited. And Yvie, you're going to have a whole new, brand new little outfit to show.
I will. It's
a little special something.
Yeah, it's going to be Halloween, so I'll probably dress up all the way 100% because people hate it when you're just having fun and chasing your childhood dreams of being Hillary Duff.
I really got to figure out what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to do anything. Who knows? Well, if you are enjoying all of Yvie's looks and the show in general, drop us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or any sort of comment, subscribe, anywhere on the social medias. Please
and if you're not enjoying my looks, still leave us a 5-star review.
I think, yeah.
But leave some critical feedback and I'll tattoo it on my arm.
Which also could be useful as we are trying we want that engagement going up on our Instagram and TikTok at HighKey here. So go ahead and start a thread and talk about the crunchiness if that is your...
Oh my God. This shit is over. We're not done arguing. All right, y'all. I'm kicking you out of my house. Goodbye.
Yeah, next week, DC Dash.